this is what's happening to the companies that don't have strong balance sheets and that are running out of liquidity. All right, welcome to Talkin Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about the Bitcoin miners. There were several Bitcoin miners that had a very bad day on Friday. One in particular put out a press release. It's a top 10 Bitcoin miner, and they put out a very disturbing press release, in my opinion. So I want to go through the Bitcoin miners in general, and then I want to talk specifically about this Bitcoin miner and what they had to do, and is this a sign of more to come? So if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, helps the channel out a lot. And for those of you who want to become a member of the channel, you can hit the join button on the YouTube page, and you can become a member and get some additional content for members only, as well as a Tuesday live stream that is for members only. So we welcome you to do that as well. Let's start off by taking a look at the Bitcoin mining big board on Friday, because it was a very, very red day. And before we go through these, I just want to say in general, so Friday was a pretty red day across the board. The market was down anywhere from 2 to 3%, depending on which index you were looking at. Bitcoin itself was down about 3%, so it was not a good day in the market on Friday, for sure. However, it was a particularly bad day for the Bitcoin miners, and there were 5 in specific that had extremely bad days. One of those 5 put out a press release, and I think it explains that bad day, and I want to go through that. So let's just go through the 5 that had a tough day for starters. Marathon down 14%, Core Scientific was down 13%, Argo Blockchain was down 23%, Iris Energy was down 15.68%, and TeraWolf was down 23.6%. So there were some fairly drastic moves. This is one of the worst days we've seen for the Bitcoin miners in a long time, and this has been a year of very bad days for Bitcoin miners. So the one that I want to focus in on is Argo Blockchain. Argo put out a press release on Friday, and this doesn't pertain to just Argo only. I want to talk about this as it pertains to all the Bitcoin miners, because liquidity is becoming a very, very big issue. And there are the haves and the have-nots, and there are some companies that are making moves that I would imagine they never, ever expected they were going to have to make. So Argo did several of those things on Friday, all in one press release. So I guess they kind of ripped off the Band-Aid and just gave all the bad news at once. And I'm going to go through the press release right now because it just was not good news. Okay, so Friday, October 7th, Argo Blockchain, announcement of strategic actions to strengthen the company's balance sheet. Okay, so, that's the positive headline they're going to give on this. But as we dig in, they did 3 things, one of which they needed to do that I think was good. And the other 2, they're just not good things. Number 1, Argo signs a letter of intent to amend existing equipment financing agreement. So it looks like they're going to get some of their equipment financing on a little bit better terms. So that one is actually decent news. Okay, number 2, Argo plans to sell 3,400 mining machines for cash proceeds of about £6 million or $6.8 million US. Okay, so this one I'm going to talk more about. This one to me was a pretty big shocker, and I think that it is not good news at all. Number 3, Argo intends to raise approximately $27 million US via a proposed subscription with a strategic investor. So this is not an at-the-market offering. Okay, so, this is talking about short-term cash flow. They are making moves right now to ensure that they have cash flow for the next 12 months. That starts to put them into what's called going concern territory, where their auditors are going to have to take a close look at whether or not it's reasonable for them to expect to be able to continue to operate over the course of the next year and beyond. So, as previously reported on September 9, 2022, the company had seen headwinds from the price of both natural gas and electricity caused by the geopolitical situation in Europe and low levels of natural gas storage in the United States. These factors, coupled with the decline in the price of Bitcoin since March of 2022 and the increased mining difficulty, have reduced the company's profitability and free cash flow generation. Okay, so a lot of headwinds. Now, all the Bitcoin miners are facing these headwinds, which is why September was a little bit of a tough month pretty much across the board. But for a company that was on the tipping point, some of these companies had to take some actions, and their actions I really don't think they wanted to take. But, you have to do what's necessary, obviously, to remain liquid and stay in business. They changed some of the terms of their financing to their favor, so that's obviously a positive thing. That is the smallest of the 3 things. I want to talk about the other 2 in specific. In addition, the company has signed an agreement to sell to a third party 3,400 new in-box Bitmain S19J Pro machines. And I will tell you, when we look at this, they did not sell them for a good price. They did not sell them for what was anywhere near market value. So there was a fairly imminent and urgent need to raise cash, because you don't want to start liquidating your productive assets until it's absolutely necessary. So this goes beyond selling Bitcoin or using cash or even raising debt or equity. They literally had to sell machines that they were intending to run. I mean, that's the core of their entire business. And these are not old machines that were out of date. They're still in the box. That's a very disturbing development in my opinion. As an investor, this is the thing I would be most concerned about. So if there's any good news to take away from this, is they have gotten more machines online, it looks like, in September, and they will in October. The company has entered into a non-binding letter of intent with a strategic investor, under which, subject to contract due diligence and other customary conditions, the investor has agreed to subscribe for approximately 87 million ordinary shares at 27.6 cents pounds. So that's gross proceed of about $27 million. So they're raising, and that's in US dollars. So 27 million US dollars is what they're raising in capital. If I jump ahead a paragraph, they say, assuming completion of the subscription, the investor will hold 15.46% of the company's enlarged issued share capital. So this is a 15.6% dilution. We're going to see their stock did even worse than that on the day, but I think it is because not only are they doing this massive dilution to raise money, but they had to actually sell some of their brand new Bitcoin mining machines. So even this money raise was not enough. They still had to start selling off pieces of their operations. So these two things in combination are very, very discouraging for an investor. We're starting to see major Bitcoin miners, and Argo is by every measure a top 10 Bitcoin mining company as far as the publicly traded companies go in North America, and they are now liquidating some of their operating equipment. Okay, this is Argo's chart zoomed into the 1-day time frame. So you'll see they hit an all-time low of $3.71 back in the middle of June, when almost all the Bitcoin miners bottomed out, and Bitcoin hit a local bottom on or around that day of around 17,500. So that they did have a decent run up. Bitcoin had about a 2-month rally, and Argo rallied about 82% up. Now that, believe it or not, that is actually less than the average Bitcoin miner. Where Argo closed on the day, they now are 15% below their previous all-time low. So that's just not small movement to the downward. That is massively taking out their all-time low, and it's putting them in territory where they've never been before. So to me, this is a stock that I am concerned about. Again, this is not financial advice. You guys need to do your own due diligence. I'm just trying to let you know what moves Argo just made, because they were fairly dramatic. And more so than that, I want everybody to be looking at these balance sheets, because this is what's happening to the companies that don't have strong balance sheets and that are running out of liquidity. And Argo is one of these companies. They have more current liabilities than they do liquidity. So I'm not even going to go through any price targets. This stock was hit hard. It's down 23%. It's 15% below its all-time low. So I don't know where this stock is headed. This is obviously an extremely volatile stock. I am not invested in this. This pullback does not get it to a point that interests me either. So for me, I'm steering clear of this. Obviously not financial advice for you. You guys need to make your own buying decision. They are now 15% below their all-time low, whereas Bitcoin is not at its all-time low. Bitcoin is still a solid 10 to 15% above its all-time low. Be careful trading, everybody. Please remember, these are super volatile stocks. All the Bitcoin mining companies are super volatile stocks. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.